Good morning. My name is Dick Ryan. I'm a member of the Western Automotive Journalist, and I'm reviewing the brand new Nissan 370Z for Nissan Sports Magazine. To give you some background, we've been Datsun people, my wife and I, since the late 60s. We've had a few 510s and a few Roadsters. We've raced Roadsters and 1200s. We had a 610 for a while, and we had a 240Z the very first year that it came out, and then we also have a 350Z now. We currently race a Formula V, and we're going to go for a little ride, so we'll get buckled up. The model that we've got is a base model, and it has a very new feature. It's got a rev matching downshift pattern on a manual transmission. There are a number of cars that have the rev matching feature on their automatic transmissions, but I think this is the first one that's ever come on a manual. So go ahead and get started. Okay. Out we go, no traffic coming. The car's got a really low front spoiler, so you have to be careful how you enter roadways and go over obstacles so you don't scratch it. And it's starting to rain a little bit, so we're not going to go really hard. Compared to the 350Z that we've got, the ride is much, much smoother. We have a 2003 350, and it's very, very stiff ride. This one is much smoother, much more enjoyable for everyday travel, and from the little bit I've driven it, I think it would be really sufficient for racetrack use. I do quite a few track days in our 350, and from a suspension standpoint, it's great from a street car standpoint. Now, one of the nice improvements in this car compared to the early 350s are brakes. The brakes in this car are significantly bigger than the brakes in the early 350s. If you've ever talked to anybody who's done track days in 350s, it's not unusual to go through an entire set of brake pads in one day on the track with the stock brakes. This car has about the same torque as the 350s. I don't think it's materially different. However, this car has about 30 more horsepower than the current 350s, and about 60 more horsepower than the early ones. Tracks well. It's easy to drive. I'm in fourth right now, and turn the shift matching system on. Okay, it's on now, and I'm going to downshift from fourth to third and not use the gas pedal at all. Hopefully you can hear it rev. It loops the throttle maybe 500 or 600 RPM. We're doing about 60 miles an hour. Now we'll go down to second. Should blip it pretty significantly, I would think. Oh yeah. Did you hear that? That went up about probably 2,000 RPM. And if you're comfortable manually heel and towing, you can shut off the rev matching, because I think it would get a little bit annoying on a racetrack, for example, if you're used to doing in normal heel and toe. The steering wheel is shaped a little differently than the 350s. The 350 wheel is perfectly round. This is more of an oval shape, and for me, I think it's easier to see the controls and the instruments. One of the things that I miss from the 350s compared to the 370 is there was an analog speedometer in one of the gauge clusters on the dash, and I would constantly be looking over there. It's just slightly out of your eyesight range. There it goes. There's that blip. So it's easy to constantly tell how fast you're going. This one, you've got to look down at the analog speedometer, and I'm just not quite used to that. Not that it's bad, it's just I'm not used to it. I think the shift system in this one is a lot smoother than the 350s. The gear changes seem much more precise, not quite as sloppy, and smoother. One of the things in the 350, in fact all of the 350s that I've driven, the gearbox is kind of notchy. It's just not quite as smooth as in, for example, some of the BMWs or the Audis. This one seems more like a BMW or an Audi transmission from the shifting standpoint.